Hey guys, I'm Justin.
I'm Lee.
I'm Eric.
I'm Carl.
And today we decided, as many episodes as we've done, we've touched in a lot of episodes on our favorite movies, but we've never really just done an episode where we've just talked about our favorite movies. So that's what today's episode is going to be. We've got 3 horror films and 1 non, because Lee is not the biggest horror fan.
Sorry.
I mean, I think that's just kind of... I'm not sure why that was so funny. I feel like that's common knowledge. She's not the biggest horror fan. She does it for me. But yeah, we'll go over all that on today's episode of Welcome to Horrorland.
Welcome to Horrorland.
Alright, so 4 different films. We'll kind of keep this one a little short, but today's agenda, today's project, I guess you could say, was to pick out our favorite movie of all time. And I know that we've touched on these in a lot of different episodes, and I feel like people already know what we've picked, or at least have an idea of what we were probably going to pick.
Yeah.
But we've never simply just talked about them and why we love them. And so that was today's agenda, like I said. So who would like to start us off?
Well, I usually do, but I didn't know if y'all wanted me to today.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to start out by saying, when they said, Eric, we want you to pick out your favorite, it's like picking out your favorite kid. I can't do it. This is as close as I could get, but I mean, on any given day, this will change. I like, just to give you an example, I had Jaws with me because I almost changed my mind like 3 times. But as of right now, I'll go out on a limb and say that's my favorite horror movie for now.
Which is?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought that I had made it clear. It's The Howling.
I just don't know if there's glare. I can't tell sitting back this far. I can't tell how much glare there is. So.
Yeah. I'm a big werewolf guy. I love werewolf movies. Like he loves his clowns and scarecrows. I love werewolves. I'll watch anything that even says there might be a werewolf in it. And to me, this is the biggest banger of all of them right here. The Howling.
I agree. I think it's the best werewolf movie ever made.
I know a lot of people disagree that American Werewolf in London is the best, and it did outgross The Howling by not a small number. It was pretty significant, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But to me, everything about this movie is superior. The werewolf transformation. I need my werewolf standing, people. Okay, I don't need a dog. I'm not terribly scared of a big dog. I'm terrified of a man that grows to about 8 foot tall,
Has claws,
and a big nose, and comes at me. I'll shit myself. That's what'll happen. A big dog, I'll be like, damn, go away, and that's how that'll go. And but this movie, it has it all.
The transformations, as much as the transformations get talked about in American Werewolf in London, these are every bit as good.
Yeah.
Then they're done in a different way. The guy goes vertical, not laying on his back like a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, and the way his forehead pulsates, the way his jaws.
The story of The Howling, in my opinion, is better too. I mean, the story of American Werewolf's okay.
Yeah.
But I think the story in Howling is far superior as well.
I love everything about The Howling, but I mean, I love the fact that it alludes to a big conspiracy, a big hidden conspiracy of werewolves that are hidden away from the world.
The colony, almost.
Yeah, the colony.
Exactly.
You know? It's a cult, is what it is. It even says in there, we are a cult of werewolves. And they've hid themselves away, and they're trying not to kill people. They're actively trying not to kill anybody. They're just trying to be hidden away from the world and left alone. But
They get pushed too
there's
far.
always one that ruins it for the whole group. And in this movie, it happens to be, it was his first film. I can't remember his name. Richard Picardo. Yeah, that's it, Richard Picardo, who went on to be Star Trek Voyager's doctor, and in a bunch of movies and stuff like that. He's a big character actor now. And that movie, man, I can't say enough about it. It launched a lot of careers. Dee Wallace has famously said that this movie got her E.T. She was already established whenever this movie came out. but she hit the big time once The Howling hit. Joe Dante got the Gremlins off this, and it's all that is because Steven Spielberg saw The Howling and absolutely loved it. Said it was the best werewolf movie he'd ever seen, and he hired them both within 6 months. He hired Joe Dante for Gremlins, and he hired her to be the mom. And like I said, I mean, I could go on and on and on. I don't want to take up too much time talking about all the ways this movie rocks, but I will say this. The reason why the effects in this thing kick ass as much as they do is it's Rob Bottin. It was his first solo. A lot of people think The Thing was. It wasn't. It was this film. He got The Thing off of The Howling. This movie was made in 81.
Yeah.
And
When it came out, I think they were working on it in 80.
Yeah. He was actually not supposed to be on the film. It was supposed to be Rob Baker. Lord, I can't talk no more. What's his name? Baker. Rick Baker.
Rick Baker.
It was supposed to be Rick Baker's film, but guess what happened? The guy, John Landis, called Rick Baker and said, "You owe me a favor," and he got pulled for The Howling to go do The American Werewolf in London, and he left his assistant, a young Rob Bottin, who took over The Howling, and I dare say his apprentice did better than Rick did, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, both. I mean, I dare say American Werewolf in London has probably the most famous transformation werewolf scene that's ever been filmed. But in my personal opinion, this is the better transformation. It just kicks ass for me.
And when you look at it, you really have to say too, and I know that they made like American Werewolf in Paris, which technically is a sequel.
Yeah.
But when you look and you say which franchise, you look at popularity. While The Howling, when it first came out, might not have been as popular. Look at how many sequels it spawned off, and the reboots and the remakes and all that. So really and truly, when you look at it that way, it kind of is. The Howling is more popular in that sense. But yeah, definitely a fantastic film. Side note, I do have a question, and I just want to know. You said you like your werewolf vertical.
Yes.
So I want to know: were you or were you not a fan of Dog Soldiers? Everybody hates on that movie.
I love Dog Soldiers.
Thank you.
That's a
Good
great
deal.
movie.
Okay.
I dare say
Everybody hates on that movie, and I don't know
I
why.
will put it ahead of American Werewolf in London. I truly will.
Okay.
I love that movie. The other one that gets left out all the time gets completely is Wolfen.
See,
that's
I
your
have
dogs
Wolfen, but I have not seen it.
That's your dogs, right?
Yeah, but it's the story.
The story's better than all of them.
Yeah, it's the whole. But that's what I'm saying. You'll see how it flips around. You got great werewolves or a great story that they don't bring them in together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the idea of the Wolfen being, like and true, like shapeshifters, skinwalkers, that kind of thing, was great.
Another upright werewolf movie, Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, Ginger
Is
Snaps.
also very
That was good.
That's a
Ginger
good
Snaps
movie.
was great.
Okay. Yeah. I just kind of wondered that. I know you're a big werewolf guy, but like for whatever reason, when we do conventions, if I have a copy of Dog Soldiers, people will pick that up and be like, "God, this was a turd," and I'm like, "What? Dog Soldiers was great." I don't know. I really don't know why. Like,
I think it's because it's British. Most people don't react well to British films in general.
But I mean, it is a British film, but it's not like one that was. You have British films that were primarily for a British crowd, but like Dog Soldiers it had British actors, but it was primarily made for an American crowd and actually premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel back in the day.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, the fact that people hate on that one. Anyways, we were talking about The Howling. That was a complete side note. I just wanted to know. Sorry.
I will say, like I said, I could go on, oh, by the way, this and oh, by the way, that. I'm going to try and trim that down because we could be talking about The Howling for like an hour. But I will say, The Howling is treated as a comedy horror film, just like American Werewolf in London.
It is, but it's not nearly as comedic.
It's not nearly as comedic, but there are some very funny scenes in it if you know what you're looking at. You know what I mean? Oh gosh, what was I going to say? The scenes with Dee Wallace and Stone. That's actually they married on the set. At the very last of the set, her on-screen husband, they actually were seeing each other when the film came out, or whenever the film was being filmed, and they got married at the end of filming, and they were married for 15 years till he died. I did not know that, to be quite honest with you, because I'd always thought that they had gotten a divorce because she has not had some not thrilling things to say about him at times. but according to the stuff that I read, he actually passed on. And that's why they're no longer together. It wasn't because she divorced him or he divorced her or anything like that. It was he
That's odd
died.
because, like you said, she had some unpleasant things.
Yes, evidently he wasn't the nicest at all times. I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't there, but I'm just saying.
Shit, who is?
Yeah. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the movie.
Segue.
Yeah, I have a lot of segues. That's why I got to get cut off every now and again. But anyway, that is my personal favorite. It definitely will forever and always be my favorite werewolf movie. Now, is it my favorite scary movie, period? Boy, that's just an awful bold statement.
It can change.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But anyway. All right, moving on. You got me done.
Go ahead, Lee. I got to hear this.
Yeah, I want to hear
I've
this
never
too.
heard this.
All right, so for mine, as most of you know, it's not a horror film. Even though I do watch horror with all these guys, that is not my preference of genre. So, for me, I don't know if any of you have ever seen it, but it's called A Bad Mom's Christmas. It is absolutely one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. There is an original, just Bad Moms, and even though you probably should watch it first, they don't really... You could watch the Christmas one without watching the first one. But if you want a little more backstory, you should watch the first one. So basically, there is a group of moms, and they're stressed out all the time. They have kids, and they're always trying to please everybody, much like moms of everyday life. And this one is through Christmas. So these moms decide they're going to take a night out to go Christmas shopping, because all their moms are coming into town, and their moms stress them out on top of their kids and husbands. So they decide they're going to take a night out, and they go Christmas shopping. And it is one of the funniest chick flicks that you will ever watch. However, I will say Justin has seen it, and he thought it was funny. Mm-hmm. Definitely a dude could watch this and have just as much fun with it as the women. I think it has enough sexual innuendo and
It does, but not just them. It's a funny movie.
It's funny.
Just the situations they get in.
The situations they get in, and I mean, it even says on the back a dose of raunchy fun. It is raunchy. It is terrible. Kids should definitely not watch this. Yeah, definitely not for kids, but for a mature audience. And it is, like I said, you will be laughing. I can promise you. If you're not laughing, there's something wrong with you. But yeah, give it a watch if you have not seen it, because I promise you, even if you are a horror fan, this is a movie you will laugh at.
And it takes a who's who of the time.
Like with Mila Kunis and Christian Bale.
Yeah.
I think is it Catherine Hahn? Yeah. Susan Sarandon's in it. Like it's funny.
Okay.
Like you really can't mess up with this group of women.
Yeah, it's funny.
Carl hasn't watched it. I'm gonna make him watch
I'm
it.
gonna watch it though.
Yeah, you'll have to watch. I mean, it is funny. Guys will. I mean,
Yeah, as long
guys
as it's
will
funny,
enjoy it.
I'd rather watch. Most of the time, I'd rather watch comedy than horror.
Yeah.
It's just to sit around, something to do.
To have on, and it's not something you have to sit and just like blow your eyes to and think about. It's just a funny movie.
See, that'd be good. That's a good way to just relax.
Yeah.
All right. Carl?
Mine, I know y'all can't understand what this is, but this is my favorite movie of all time is Halloween. And when we said we're going to do our favorite movie, it literally took me 8 seconds to go up Halloween. Always has been, always will be. It's probably, I remember seeing this in the movie theater. I was 15 years old, wasn't old enough to get in. So we did whatever, we snuck in. And I remember getting the crap scared out of me. But the big thing I remember was when it came out on regular TV and you had the added footage. Mm-hmm. It was so cool to see that added footage in there. And
It was shot just for TV.
For TV, you know. And
What they call the Sandman cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, originally there was no connection between Laurie Strode and Michael. That was strictly made to add a subplot to the TV version. because there was not enough runtime in the TV version or in the original version to be on film, you know. But yes.
And I will have to say, I have every version of this movie. I have all of these plus all of those plus all of those. I buy these. If it is related to Halloween, I bought it. Didn't care. Still don't care how much it costs. Whatever. I just don't care. It has always meant that much to me. And like a lot of this stuff, this has never been opened. This still has the original, which a lot of people laugh about this, but I have the original merch cards inside, and the keychains never been taken out, so it's all box stock like it was the day it came out.
If you don't mind, I want to show them something real quick. Will this pop out?
Yeah.
If you don't think that he watches every version either, if you'll notice, this has not been rewound. You're supposed to be kind and rewind, and he did not.
Your Blockbuster card should be revoked.
I literally watch these. I probably watch this movie probably 3 times a month, at least. If I'm in here playing guitar, I've got Halloween on in the background. If I'm messing around on my iPad or something, if it's streaming somewhere, I'll watch it. I bet it's not a stretch to think I've probably seen this movie 900 to 1,000 times. I'm absolutely obsessed with it.
You've watched Day of the Dead more than that.
More than that, over 3,000. And it's crazy that I've just been absolutely obsessed with this movie. I don't know how many conventions we've been to where I've won prizes because I knew some weird,
he won a mask.
Yeah, some weird thing, you know, like how many people played Michael Myers and nobody wants to remember, you know, Deborah Hill and Tommy Lee Wallace. You know, they played Mike Myers, you know. But it was, to me, the big thing about this movie was the atmosphere. That was the thing. As a 15-year-old kid, I didn't even know what the hell atmosphere was. But the quality in which they shot that movie, some of the most beautiful filming I've ever seen in a movie. Like when she's Nancy Loomis is in the laundry hut thing out back, and you see the door open, there's nobody there. And then as it starts to close back, you see him appear through the sheer curtain in that white mask and the black jumpsuit. All you can see is the mask. Scary as hell.
Well, it just built in suspense. But Halloween,
there's no blood. There's no blood to speak of. There's not a lot of jump scares. It is strictly about suspense, the build up, the anxiety you felt during that movie. You know, PJ Soul's boobs didn't hurt, and it was.
I didn't say anything about boobs this time. I just want that on
record.
Mean,
I have to. I love PJ. But it just everything in a horror movie that I wanted to see. There was kills, but it wasn't, I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't just gory to get your attention.
No, it wasn't over the top.
Yeah, actually, there's very, very little gory.
Yeah, very, very little. And just the idea that without 10 gallons of blood flying through the air, that movie kept your attention. It kept you scared. It was just incredible. And I've always been super attached to it. And I've said this a million times. I love the first 3 movies, but this is not my favorite franchise. I think they screwed this up from beginning to end, starting with part 4. This is the most fractured, unable, mark of thorn bullshit that I've ever seen. And I could just rant forever about that. But the first 3 movies are absolutely priceless to me. And
I think probably out of a franchise too, I would have to say that Halloween 1, in my opinion anyways, is probably, out of all the franchises, the most beloved part one of anything.
Yeah.
Because when you look at Friday the 13th, a lot of people don't like it because it's not Jason, it's the mother. A lot of people don't like Freddy because he doesn't have the puns and everything that Freddy would become. Nightmare on Elm Street is great. A lot of people do like it, but there's a lot of people that say, oh, it's not the greatest because Freddy would be more like he was, you know, with the puns and stuff.
And see, I'm the opposite with that one. I think I absolutely love the first one. I think that franchise is trash because it became almost like a comedy show. Yeah. His puns got too far.
Yeah.
And it went from being a scary, serious. I mean, he was scary as shit in the first one.
Yeah.
You know, and like with Michael Myers, what scared bless you. What scared you about Michael Myers? He was silent. He was patient.
Yeah.
He was methodical. Yeah. And he never didn't get his.
But there's not really a lot of people that talk about Halloween 1, the original, and they're like, we didn't like it. Like, that is pretty much everyone.
It was the archetype.
Yeah.
For everything.
It really was.
I will say I heard a great analogy of the Halloween, of the original Halloween, I should clarify, that I thought that you would appreciate. They said that Halloween was Jaws on land.
It was.
And they said that because, just like Jaws, especially with Jaws, because they could not afford to show the shark, they had to build suspense without the benefit of having something for you to look at to build it. They had to build that solely by inference, by saying, there is something in the water. We can't show you, but you know it's there. You can see that fin, you can see this, but you never see the whole shark. There's 11 minutes in that film of actual sharking, and it's a whole lot like Halloween. I don't want to get off on a Jaws tangent, but it's a whole lot like Halloween, because if you watch that movie from beginning to end, there's not a whole lot of Michael Myers in it.
No.
There's scenes, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that there's not a lot of scenes with him in it, but
you don't see him break. You don't see him break into the
screen time with Michael Myers is relatively little, and they did that. And that same concept was used with Jaws and with other great suspense movies. They don't sell you with the blood. They don't sell you with the violence. They sell you with the suspense of what you're anticipating to be violence, and that's why that's such a great movie.
And honestly, if they had never brought in the Laurie Strode part, it would still been just as good. It'd probably been scarier, because then, just like 6 years old, flipped the switch, killed his sister for no damn reason.
Yeah.
And then how hard would it be? How big of a stretch is it going to be that he breaks out of prison, and instead of, he didn't break out because he wanted to kill his sister. He broke out because he's tired of being there. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, what's he do? Did what he did 15 years earlier and decides to kill somebody.
It's definitely a franchise that you have to look at, and a lot of franchises are that way. You have to look at each movie individually, because like if I look at it as the actual franchise, yes, the franchise sucks. But like for me personally, if I look at it as 4 and 5, because they go together, 4 and 5 to me personally are not terrible films. In the realm of Michael Myers and Halloween, they're bad. But if you look at them and you say, oh, it's a masked killer, 4 and 5 are not bad films in my opinion. It's them being compared to part 1, much like a lot of the Friday the 13th franchise.
Part 3.
If you look at it,
the heat that took.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, and this is just solely my opinion, I'm sure there's a ton of people that will disagree with me. If you look at I'm talking about the major franchises, your Halloweens, your Friday the 13th, your Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the only one, as y'all pointed out, that the first one is considered the best out of all those. That even goes for Pinhead and Leatherface. I don't know. A lot of people would say Leatherface. The first one is the iconic.
Most people shit on part 2.
Yes, but for example, Nightmare on Elm Street, universally, part 3 is considered the superior film.
Oh yeah, Dream
Warriors is considered superior to the original. And Friday the 13th. It's totally up to the person. For me personally, part 5 was the peak. A lot of people, it's part 4, and you could go.
And most people are going to go with what? Part 3. He got his mask. You see what.
Me, I also love part. I love all of them, but part 2, part 5, part 4. Those are iconic films for me.
Yeah, I'm saying
definitely going to have to do a ranking of Friday the 13th.
Oh my gosh, we will be here for days.
Because I've always said this is my favorite movie. Friday the 13th is my favorite franchise.
Yeah, that's because consistently across the board, those movies delivered. And don't get me started about talking about. You're really going down a road here. You don't need to get me started.
We've done this before. One night we were talking. We looked up and Eric went, well, shit. And I said, what? He's like, what time you got to get up for work? And I said, 4:30. He's like, you should probably go home and get about 3 hours sleep.
Yeah, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. From Wednesday night, we sat there, watched a couple of really bad movies. Then the next thing you know, we're drinking Mountain Dew, eating chips, talking about Friday the 13th, putting in movies.
I'm very passionate about Friday the 13th.
And,
If
you
anybody
know,
knows.
we just had a blast. But
If you guys want to see a ranking of Friday the 13th, drop a comment down below. Like, that's
yeah.
definitely
That would be-
definitely a good summer. We just did sleepaway camp, and so Friday the 13th definitely that summertime camp slasher. It would be great to watch.
You want to
all those and
invest
rank
a
them.
lot of time in your screen, then definitely pick Friday the 13th because I will talk about it for a very long
But
time.
this one, like I said, I love it, and I collect anything and everything. I've got the snow globes. There's not many of those out. There's not many left now, and I'm very, very fortunate. Mine's been stored well, so it's never evaporated.
It's amazing the merchandise that comes with these.
And I buy,
franchises,
if
too.
you've got something for sale that's Halloween related, hit me up on the social medias. I am not shy about buying.
We are franchise whores. That's all there is to it.
But it's for every reason that I said, and it is. I remember how scared I was when I was 15 years old, and I had to walk out of the movie theater. Our little movie theater here, you had to walk down an alley to get out. And I remember how scared I was walking down that alley thinking, oh shit, this could be that. Yeah. But that's it for me. I mean, I could go, like Eric said, I could go on for hours and hours and hours.
I do want to share this. I'll try to be really brief about this. One of my favorite memories I ever had. I mean, it was one of the best memories I ever had of my father. Was he let me set up and watch this when was it televised? 1980. It came on televised. I mean, it was a big deal. I remember,
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, you got to watch it. It's going to be on TV." My father let me sit up and watch it, and I never will forget it. I went to bed that night, and he stayed up to watch the news. He always stayed up and watched Johnny Carson, did all that kind of stuff. And I got up, I bet you, 10 times, terrified. Michael's in my closet. I can hear him breathing. I can hear him, and Dad, I bet you he walked in there 5-6 times. On about the 7th time, his nerves were shot, and he's like, "Please go to bed. There's nothing in there." He turned on the light. He did all that stuff. What he didn't tell me is whenever he sent me back to bed this time, he followed me and stood outside the door, and I started hearing the breathing again. I'm like, and I got ready to get up, and he turned on the light. He says, "Do not get out of that bed." He goes, "It's you. You're hearing yourself breathe, and you think it's coming from the closet." And it was the funniest thing, because after that, I held my breath, and I didn't hear it no more, and I was like, "Oh crap!" But yeah, that's a memory I'll always cherish, and it's all linked back to Halloween.
Yep.
So, but anyway.
Alright, so rounding out this week's episode, my favorite of all time, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I bet you y'all never guessed that.
Never would have guessed. I've always liked Killer Clowns.
It's a great movie.
It's not scary. Really, I mean,
Come on, there's some scary scenes in it. When he takes that straw out, and boop,
in the cotton candy, I mean, yeah, I guess. It's more corny than anything. Corny and cheesy. But 1988, I don't know. I've always gravitated towards this. Me and my dad watched it, and I don't really know. Just from then on, it was like, I love that movie. That's my movie. I've always liked clowns. There's something about them. They, for whatever reason, scare everyone else. Clowns to me have always been kind of interesting. It's the kind of maniacal sense of humor that comes with a lot of clowns. But these, of course, are blood-sucking alien clowns. And just Shorty. My favorite scene of all time was being like 5 or 6 when I watched this, and the clown car with like the 20 clowns that get out of it, and I'm like, how do they do that? Even how do they have that many clowns? But yeah, just overall really enjoy it. I've got action figures, of course, t-shirts. We've got the big animatronics down in my media room at home. And pretty much anything Killer Clowns I'm going to have. I've got all the editions of the Blu-ray. I don't have DVDs or VHS or any of that, but the editions of the Blu-ray, the Scream Factory, the Arrow 4K, we've got all of those. And any edition they release from here on out, I will have. I don't know, just something about it. Always loved it. I'm not a real big autograph guy like Carl and Eric are, but we have done several shows with Grant Kramer and the Kyoto brothers and all them. And like, if I had to do like a group photo or something, I do actually kind of wish that I had done that and got like a big poster sign. Yeah. It really would have been cool in the art, the print that Terrence made for us last year at Scarefest. we were part of the killer cards that he made, and of course I picked Shorty from Killer Clowns with the boxing gloves.
Of course.
So again, walls in the media room, they've got Killer Clowns art from Terrence in there. I'll try and put some pictures of that stuff in since I didn't bring but the one lone Blu-ray. But lots of great stuff with Killer Clowns. Just the overall story of it, this big circus tent from outer space. The clowns, they never really they don't speak, they don't give you any kind of, this is the reason that we're here. It's just see people, kidnap people, put them in cotton candy cocoons. They do suck their blood as, like, I'm assuming, like an energy source. So I would assume that is more
That's
or less why they come down. It doesn't say that, but again, you kind of read between those lines. You kind of get that.
I love the big top spaceship. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
Yeah. The only thing I would kind of dislike about this, if I had to say, I dislike that, would be the big clown at the end, just because you can see it's a puppet, you can see the strings. I was like, I wish they had just left it like a gaggle, just a big gang of clowns kind of ganging up on them. But that right there, them running through the fun house at the end with all the clowns kind of chasing them with the bats and all that, just that whole series of scenes right there is just great, and I just love that. Again, not necessarily a scary film, not a bloody film either, much like Halloween. There's not a lot of gore. The only real gore scene in it that really has any blood whatsoever would be the cotton candy scene where they stick the straw in the cocoon. Because even when Shorty knocks, what are you going to do, knock my block off? Even when he knocks dude's block off, there's no blood, like when he tears his head. So that's pretty much the only gore scene that there is in that. But
to give you an idea how big it is, and people don't realize, Halloween Horror Nights in 2018 at Universal Studios, they had 10 different haunted houses, right? Like Halloween 4. That was what drew me there. They had Halloween 4, they had Poltergeist, a couple of others. But the entire park in the Midway was dedicated to killer clowns. They had the cotton candy sacks hanging all over the place. You had the 3 clowns running around. You had the brothers ice cream van. I mean, there was everything out there. And one of the coolest things that I've never seen it since, never saw it before, there was pink fog.
Cool.
Everywhere. And it smelled like cotton candy.
That was awesome.
The whole place smelled like cotton candy. And I've got I'd have to show them to you. I'll show them to you before you leave. I have all kinds of pictures with the clowns and stuff, and like the glove that comes off on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And I didn't realize how many people truly, truly love that movie until you see people go just nuts.
It was made in 88.
It's made a huge resurgence though in the past few years. Like it went many, many years, no one really talked about it. It was just like, Killer Clowns. And then all of a sudden it was like, bam. And, really and truly, I think a lot of it has to do with stuff like this, the Arrow Video Blu-ray release. I think sometimes it takes the turn of media. We had the DVD releases and stuff like that, but when it gets a really nice Blu-ray release, I feel like it puts it in the forefront of everybody's mind again. And I feel like that's kind of what happened with this one, because it was just like all of a sudden, bam, and then we just had the anniversary of it a couple years ago, which really helped again. But like Killer Clowns has been on the craze as of recent years, and just... I love everything about this one, straight down to the theme song. The theme song for it, just that whole instrumental of it, and then the lyrics too. That's just phenomenal. And this is one that anytime, much like Carl said, if he's down here playing guitar, he's watching this. If I ever see this on TV, if I'm flipping through channels, or if I'm ever just like, I don't know what to watch, I'm going to put in Killer Clowns. We've watched it several times. It's even become where Ava, our youngest, has watched it several times, and she even had a Killer Clowns birthday party a few years ago because she likes it so much. So, even stuff like that. It's definitely a generational movie. It's not real scary. It's not bloody. It's not gory. There's no nudity. There's there's a little bit of language, but not much at all. So it's really, and again, this one was in our Gateway episode. So definitely
it's actually made its head shown in several of our episodes.
Oh yeah. I love Killer Clowns. I cannot give it enough love.
A lot of people, I was talking to a girl about this the other day, and she was telling me, if you'll go back and look, and I didn't really pay any attention to this, and I started looking down through how all these are so, kind of dark. All your Blu-rays, your slipcovers are dark with bright art and stuff. And she said, you know something that's making a comeback is pink and purple colors on stuff.
That makes it pop more.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, that's true, because my eyes drawn to that anyway, because I like pink and purple. But she brought up Killer Clowns from Outer Space. She said that the colors just, it makes you stop and look, and you're like, oh, hell, I remember that movie, and everybody's buying it now.
Yeah.
Well,
Which unfortunately I have heard that they are making a remake.
Yes,
I'm not very excited for it. Ryan Gosling. I mean, it could be good. I don't know. We'll see. But again, there's certain things that you don't mess with the originals, and I think we can all agree that Halloween was kind of the same way. Don't mess with the original when they remade that. They haven't remade. I mean, they haven't remade The Howling as a direct remake. They've done like
it's
The Howling Reborn. They did like The Howling Reborn, but it was an adjacent. Like this is kind of an addition too.
No.
But Killer Clowns being remade, I don't know. That's going to be.
I will tell you, at least in my opinion, why Killer Clowns is so popular now and it wasn't back then. There are certain movies you look at now and it's very obvious they were ahead of their time. Monster Squad was like that, and Killer Clowns is like that. Nobody got it when it came out. No, it was like Killer Clowns. That sounds like a stupid idea.
Yeah.
You know, but then whenever, you know, like I said, it caught on once it went into multimedia.
Yeah.
You know, things people were able to watch it. You know, with inexpensively, and we're like, oh crap, this is awesome. You know, same thing with there's several movies that have been like that where they didn't catch on at the theaters. They were considered bombs at the time. But then, you know, by social media and all this other stuff, everybody just loves it now. You know, and that Killer Clowns is a great example of that.
It's even spawned its own video game here like the past year, so I actually haven't played it. But yeah, so I mean, Killer Clowns. I much like Eric. I go back and forth with my favorite at times. It was either going to be this or Texas Chainsaw 2.
I really thought it might have been that one. I
mean, a lot of people hate on Texas Chainsaw 2 because it does have the comedy added in. I love it though. It's a very close second to this, but if I have to go to one that absolute all the time, love it to death, I have to give it to Killer Clowns.
I couldn't believe they got Dennis Hopper for. You don't get me started on Texas too. Dennis Hopper in that was crazy, man.
Yeah.
If you told me I had to pick one movie that wasn't a horror movie that's my favorite, it'd be Jaws.
Oh yeah.
And I look at Jaws I don't think Jaws is a horror movie. I think it's a high-speed thriller. And I love it. I don't think it's horror. Otherwise, that would have been my favorite movie.
I think it's horror. It scared the shit out of me when it came out.
I remember when it came out. I mean, that's one of the few movies that I have that I didn't get an opportunity to see in the theater. I was 4 when that movie came out. And, man, I mean, I can't walk by a screen. If that thing's on, I have to sit down and watch it. I mean, you know.
I can't tell you how many times when they come on during the summer, like July 4th on AMC, and they got Jaws 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know, that
has definitely scared an entire every generation just about since it came out.
I think it spawned a phobia is what I think. I mean, they created a phobia.
I mean, how many millions and millions of sharks died needlessly, you know, because of fear. And I thought more people die from cows than they do from sharks. You know, and that goes to show you how wide this genre truly is.
Yeah,
I mean, there are so many subgenres now that we would never have dreamed of, and horror has come so far.
Very much so.
It's just been
because everybody's scared of something.
Yeah.
And it's not the same thing.
It's so cool that we can sit here with literally 4 generations of people sitting up here, and we all have our own take and our own twist. But at the same time, there's so many commonalities and so much common ground. But you know, it starts with just our love and appreciation for all things scary.
Well, we've said it before, and I'll say it again. Horror is definitely the most subjective.
Yeah.
When you watch action movies, you know there's going to be some explosions. You know there's going to be someone who has traded their country. There's certain things to expect. Comedy's the same way. It's always going to be a plot of some kind that makes you laugh. But romantic movies are always girl falls for boy, vice versa. You know, someone goes off to war, whatever. But man, horror, like you said, there's just so many different genres. When you think of a tree and each branch, there's a million and one different
intermingle with every genre you just described.
Oh yeah,
that's the only one that can do that.
Yeah,
you can't. You know, I mean, you can't just turn around and make a romantic movie that happens to also be a sci-fi movie and also happens to be a comedy. It just doesn't
or
work.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't do that with anything else. But a horror movie, I've seen tons of horror romances. I've seen tons of horror action movies. I've seen tons of horror
I mean, just look at Warm Bodies, but that's a rant for
We're
a
not
different
going to
time.
talk about that.
Here we go. Here we
Warm Bodies
Heartless comes out.
Warm Bodies will live in infamy on the Horrorland Media channel. But anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up, though, guys. Again, we appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. We look forward to getting back out on the road in June for Days of the Dead, Indianapolis. At least I do. I think Lee's just kind of there. Yeah, see,
She's just there to hand you movies.
that's the smile. I
Yeah. Was there to hand you
You just had to
maybe?
bring that up, didn't you? Damn it. Anyways,
She
again,
also puts them in bags of business cards too.
yeah, she's my
I'm the assistant.
she's my media bagger. Anyways,
I didn't know where that was going to go. Let's just thank the Lord it didn't end in violence.
anyways, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. Comment on what you guys would like to see us do next. Definitely, if you guys are interested in us ranking the Friday the 13th movies, definitely let us know about that. It's summertime, so it's getting about time to break those out and watch them again. We can rank them, go into them. We'll try not to make it too long-winded, we promise. But we can rank them. Might have to be a two-part episode, who knows. But anyways, we can rank those and kind of talk about them if you guys would like. If there's any other films out there that you guys would like to see us talk about and review, by all means, let us know. So if we don't have anything else, then I guess we will catch you guys next time with another exciting episode of Welcome to Horrorland.
Peace out. And remember, if you got any Halloween goodies you want to sell, hit me up on Facebook.
That is Carl Vinson on Facebook. You have an Instagram.
All those signs.
Yeah.
We'll whore out for Halloween stuff.
Do you have a PayPal that you would like? No, I'm kidding. Anyway, yeah, if you have stuff, you can reach out to Horrorland Media. I can pass it along. If you don't, you can reach out to Carl Vinson on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would love to see your Halloween merch for sale. So, anyways,
I ain't scared.
he's not scared to spend money unless it's on Blair Witch box set. But anyways, that's the point. We'll catch you guys next time on Welcome to Horrorland.